So I don't think that North Carolina are unstoppable the way they're moving the ball around. But once Baltimore takes possession, they're just not controlling, they're not protecting it, and there's too many turnovers. And I think we might have just seen another one there. So that's going to be holding the ball, and Hanson's going to have a shot to move the ball back into the forward line. Another forward 50 entry here, I think.
Yep, and well, he's going to come up short as Weatherspoon went, and then the defender looked like he came over the back, so it'll be a free kick to 37, one of the Quebec guys. And
I think he might have pulled the mark down there, Brian.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. I think
oh, wow.
So.
Well, whatever it was, is now look at this. Now they're just starting to get a forward. Byrne now tries to push him out of the way. They went with the subway ball, trying for the express, ended up with a local as Dorr goes off the far side, and that one goes into the middle of the ground. Weatherspoon, it goes through his hands, but it's picked up by the Dockers. Now they come out to the near side, and it's, oh, wow, right through the breadbasket. But he dropped the footy, and there is Hanson. He got shoved in the back, no call. Over is Alan Coor. Coor goes into the pocket, and it's guess who? Paul Duncan. And Duncan, who has all three of the Tigers' goals, he'll go quickly. Going into the square, he has two fluorescent highlighter yellow jumpers there, and it's O'Hanade who takes the mark.
And this is a tough kick, Brian. If he is, as you said, a convert from the Gaelic game, this is a tough angle, and not necessarily the kicking style that they're accustomed to. So often back home you'd see them stepping around on the angle.
And let's see, well, his teammates like it, and so does the goal umpire. Well, it's not that difficult after all.
Apparently not.
And that's the fourth goal of the game for the Tigers to go with two behinds. It's North Carolina 26, Baltimore 0 here in the second half.
Look, maybe it's just me who's been making it look difficult all these years.
I mean, we're not as talented as some people. You have gifts in other areas, you know, like commentary. Yeah, no, it's difficult, but you know what? That's something that you practice and you do a long time. It's interesting though that they've talked about. I think they did tweak the rule where after the siren you are allowed to take like that one extra step without it considering being off the mark. I remember seeing something about that. They've introduced so many new rules this year, and I know most of them, but it's hard to keep track, and especially some of them haven't been transferred over to the USAFL.
Oh, so this is a new AFL rule. Okay.
I think so. Don't quote me on it.
Yeah, they've been playing around with our game for quite a bit, and to mix feedback. I think one of the big changes they made back home was fixed starting positions, so making sure they had 6-6-6, 6 in the forward, 6 in the back, and 6 in the middle. I think that's one that really has opened the game up a little bit, but some of the others, I think just overreactions to.
Yeah. Well, and we've only done some of the rules here. For example, we don't do the 6-6-6 because, as you well know, nice mark coming up to take a nice chesty there. I believe was Dorr, number 13, out of the back. A lot like we don't do 50-meter arcs at all during the regular season, as a mark is taken there. We don't have turf tanks. Mark taken there by Peter Capoziello, the captain of the Tigers. That one goes in 50, and again laces out. Duncan paid the mark, and that's, I want to say, about his 8th or 9th mark, but they just have not figured out a way to catch up to him. Duncan still looking for his 4th, and that has just snuck in, I believe. Yeah, it did. That was awfully close.
Yeah, I think the goal umpire has a little different angle than we do. So
yeah.
I think our eyes might have deceived us there, but yeah, it snuck in for a behind, and he's continuing to prop up that scoreboard.
Well, I was going to say, I know I have 4 eyes and none of them work. Cooper scoreboard says North Carolina 27, Baltimore no score. North Carolina 27, Baltimore 0. Up on the far side they go, and again the Tigers able to keep the ball back in play. And they try to shuffle that one forward, and the ball has gone out of bounds. It'll be a boundary throw. We've had a pretty good crowd today, Tristan. It'll only build up tomorrow as we get to Nationals, to Championship Sunday tomorrow.
Yeah, this is only my 2nd Nationals. and it's a pretty special experience to see, you know, teams, what, 40, 45 teams coming from around the country. It kind of blows your mind to see that, you know, this game that we love back home has become such a big part of life for so many people over here.
And I was going to say, I can imagine, Tristan, that you probably had no idea that this existed before coming over here.
Well, back in the day, I've been here for 8 years.
Yeah.
I spent 6 years living in Boston in denial, and then
it's called the Charles, not the Nile. Anyway.
And then I don't know what to say to that one. But yeah, when I found the Philly Hawks, I really had to go out and have a run. Been hooked ever since.
Mark taken in the middle of the ground again by Dorr, who finds a cutting man there in Harper. Harper, another nice Irish name, but that one will be turned over by the Dockers, who, to their credit, haven't given up one iota, as they are feeling, I think, the effects of having played 2 games today. I mean, everybody has, but they're starting to show it a little bit. But that was a nice mark, and I think that's one of the Dockers boys.
Yeah, I think it's Wolf.
Yeah, Wolf's going to go. That's a good call. Wolf goes up in front, and the ball battled out of the way and kept in, and now bootlegging around again is Capoziello. Capoziello, and that one goes into the pocket. Handball up over the top. Number 30 rushing in from some nether region of the field for Baltimore. Matty Byrne is in there as well. He is knocked sideways. So is the number 1 in there unlisted for Baltimore. And the umpire crosses his arms like the Monsignor, I believe. And we will have, it should be a boundary throw. And one of the Montreal Angels ladies is over there. Of course, we have 2 Division II games coming up next. Division 1, it'll be, I believe it's going to be Texas versus the other team there in Pool A, who I'm trying to think of who they are. Sacramento and Philadelphia will play at 5 o'clock. I'll be here with you, with or without Peter Holden. I'm not sure what the plan is yet, but Peter will be back for the 4 o'clock game. It's Texas and D.C. That's who's playing at 4 o'clock at the top of the hour. Ball goes back in the play. Try to knock that one forward and shepherding it forward. And again, staying with it is McKenzie. Ball goes to ground. They waffle it out of there. And no call. And that one is a long kick in towards the middle, in towards 50. I think that was marked. Well, it looked like it was marked. The umpire, I don't think, paid it.
Yeah, I think he was a little unlucky there, Brian. He had a good vertical on him. He got his hands first to the ball, and you know, there might have been a few hands after the fact, but usually if you get first hands you come down with it, the umpires will be pretty favorable.
That was Andrew Rivera who took it but was not paid the mark for Baltimore's. Witherspoon again throws his shoulder into it, and the umpire again says, let's have a ball up right here. I believe that's Steve Arnott, the umpire here. Can judge by the back of his head at the very least. No, that isn't. No, that's Ross McLaren. He's the other guy that's been around a really, really, really long time. Here's a handball. Met immediately, but he was able to break out of the tackle somehow, was Core. And Core, with his competency, send that one forward. This is O'Hanade. He's going to be chased down. He lost the footy. He's got room for a second. Look for a handball. Again goes back to Core. And Core tripped on a giant blade of grass and fell to his face. But staying with it again is O'Hanade. He said, I'm going to get out of this. He puts a pretty good kick on goal, but it tails away. Oh, shake and bake, full of sound and fury, signifying 1 point and only 1 point, as that takes them on to 28 points. It's North Carolina 28, and on the strength of 4 goals for Baltimore, nothing. Ball will come spinning back in the play as your teammate Jay Sackey coming up to say hello. Jay's wife Erica, the captain of the Philadelphia Lady Hawks, who we'll see at 5 o'clock as they take on the Sacramento Suns. And they've both teams have guaranteed a spot into the semifinal. The Hawks, with combination with 4 other teams, including the Arizona Lady Hawks, trying to make it on to the final. Make it on to the semifinals. Well, see that they could be top of the group. It's been a long day.
Yeah, it's sometimes I feel like, you know, you almost have more of an excuse to be tired than we do. We spend, you know, a couple of hours running around, but you've got an amazing ability to just keep going the whole time.
First chance for Baltimore, and it's going to be a goal. Yeah. Andrew Rivera got on the end of it, and that was a great job leading that one out. It's almost like a soccer play, just leading it out in front of him. He picked it up, cheeky little inside heel. Baltimore is finally on the board. North Carolina 28, Baltimore 6.
Yeah, and the way that play kind of opened up was really cool because essentially, you know, the forward line was very, very open. And what Rivera did really well then was he held, and then when the time was right, he broke free, and he walked into an open goal right there. So it was contested, but he really put himself into the best position to score. So.
Well, the question is how much time do they have and how much momentum do they have? Because, well, it's only 22 points. And I've seen crazier things happen at Nationals, but there's not really much. I'm looking at the wind here. A little bit of a decent wind from left to right as we're seeing the Canadian flags in front of the Cooper's beer tent. Then they're blowing to the left of screen. I mean, it might, I don't know why. I'm not feeling it as much up here. I don't know if you feel a wind. I certainly don't.
No, it looks a lot windier than it certainly feels.
Baltimore going to get a ball up on their side of the center circle. Dorr knocks it backwards, and here they come. Little handball. Drops in short. And, ooh, that could have been high tackle. It wasn't. McKenzie, however, looking for Hansen. He's able to get the pass away, and the Tigers will release. That one came off the side of the boot. As he was trying to coffin corner that one, well, which is funny because, well, there's not near the sideline, and a throw is the call. It'll be a free kick again. Up. Well, I don't know what happened. Oh, they just wanted to bring that back there, the 15 in Alan Core. Brian Barish alongside Tristan Webster here on Go Live Sportscast. We have two more games today here on Field 2. We have Texas and D.C. and Philadelphia and Sacramento. Oh, right, the high fly, yes. Oh, he got higher than Joe Cocker on that one, but took a nice mark. And now he might turn it over, just over the top there as Alcorn went after it. And here comes Dylan Alcorn. Boy, that was a really punchy handball as he got that one inside. And that one is turned by Dorr. Dorr on the way, and it's marked in front. This time by the number 2 and Nelson Santos. And it's good to see these other players starting to float in. He had the option in Duncan, but just kind of sent it on, and great read by Santos. Let's see if you can convert. Ooh. Max Gone, is that you? Through for I think it did get through for behind, and yeah, it did. So North Carolina 29 and Baltimore 6. As we go on towards the end of day one, of course, we'll be right back here on Go Live Sportscast on this very channel tomorrow, beginning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll have on Field 2, we'll have the two women's semifinals, or the Division 2 semifinals at 8 and at 9. And Division 1 will happen at 9 and at 10. Long handball out, and again, Baltimore trying to get something going here and at least dull this, what might very well be a loss. They trail by 23 points. That one might bring some rain. Crash boom opera. Long handball out again. And as they try to work the ball around, throwing himself at the football there was the 99 and Brian Jones. And picking that one up. No, they didn't call a whistle there. That's Core. Core sends that one in, and a nice mark. Great lead again. I think that was either 17 or 13.
Yeah, I think it's Harper.
It is Harper, number 17.
He's usually a pretty good kick for a goal. We've played against him a few times over the last couple of years, and generally if he gets the ball within 30 or so, he kicks nice and straight.
Let's see how he does here. It's off the boot. And the umpire says 2 guns. Boom, boom. And, well, now I think this game is well and truly out of the reach here. It's North Carolina 35, Baltimore 6. And you know what? I mean, still credit to them. They still haven't given up. But the fact is that they're just too strong in that forward line, North Carolina.
Yeah, what started to change in Baltimore's favor this half was that they started getting a few more wins out of the ruck. And so with first use of it, they were getting some decent opportunities. But again, they're just not protecting the ball, and you know, North Carolina has really made them pay on the turnover.
Ball goes back in the middle of the ground once again. Can't be much time left here in the second half of this one. So Baltimore, or North Carolina, is going to go to 2-0. And as we take a quick look at the ladder here, the Tigers will go to 2-0. We're trying to get a report. I think Ohio Valley is playing now, I believe, as the ball goes in towards Duncan again, and that one did get touched. It is through for another minor score. So it's North Carolina 36, Baltimore 6. It's a 5-goal difference.
Yeah, I can't see the gap closing up at this point, Brian.
It's all about respectability at this point.
Exactly. You want to go down fighting.
Out on the far side now. And it's going to be a boundary throw in once again. Ball comes spinning back in the play. Knocked to ground. Paddle that one forward. Hansen gets away. How about Hansen with a shot for goal? How about Eric Hansen going across the face and another behind? 5-7, 37 to 1 straight 6. It's North Carolina 37, Baltimore 6 here in the second half.
It's interesting if you look at the field. Everybody except for 2 players are in the North Carolina half of the field.
And you know what? We saw this against Ohio Valley, and we see this a lot in the USAFL. And you know, when I played for the Hawks, we were on the end of a lot of lopsided wins and lopsided losses, and that's what happens, is that you get sucked in where you only have one person on your half of the field, your offensive half of the field, and now everybody's got to run hard and disperse. There still really isn't anybody past the halfway mark yet. All 15 of the 16 players. It bounces in front of Hansen, who gets away from his man and just gets the kick away. It's going to carry Duncan. No, that was Santos, who takes the mark 50 meters out.
Yeah, it's quite telling. You can see that there's still a bit more energy on the North Carolina boys, because as that ball came out, there were 5 or 6 North Carolina players behind the play, and just 1 or 2 from Baltimore. Really hard to get a ball through there.
A goal by North Carolina, as that had the journey. The goal umpire was standing there waiting for the field umpire to signal it. He did. It's a goal, and it's another 6 points to North Carolina. It's North Carolina 37, Baltimore 6. 6-7 for the Tigers to 1 straight for the Doc Show. On the reserve side, I'm just going to bring the ladder back out here again, because their Divi 2 side, I'll tell you what, not a lot of people were expecting them. I think, well, people were expecting them. I know I was expecting them to play well. I think people were worried about the Dockers. They lost 76-6 in their opening game against, I'm looking at the wrong one. They won their first game 29-10 over Portland, which was a little bit of a surprise. Baltimore, meanwhile, their B team throws them in, and, well, McKenzie was there. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke a little bit earlier about the development of the Baltimore team, and you know, this year has been a breakthrough. Well, last year and this year, that they won Division 4 last year. They moved up to Division 2, and they've been winning a lot of games throughout the season. So, you know, they know how to win games of footy, and I don't think you can underestimate that. Even if there's some stronger oppositions with perhaps better, like on paper, credentials, winning games throughout the year can come through at big tournaments like this.
Yep, absolutely, and I think there are a lot of people that one's going to go through for a behind as well. And well, did we just hear the whistle? Well, we'll announce the score real quick for the truck. It's North Carolina 43, Baltimore 7. But in fact, we're still going here. Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people were like. Look, I think there were a few people, myself included, who thought that maybe they should have been in Division 3 last year, but they did play well all season. They did get 13 victories, and I think they earned their chance. We'll see how the Division 4 side finishes off as that one goes in. Here's Matty Byrne. Kick that one, Matty. Oh, Matt. One of the nicest guys in the league. I think he deserves a goal at Nationals, but he says hello to Wilbur Post. Hello, I'm Mr. Ed. And that's their first point in a while. I think it's the first point since it is their first point since the goal. So it's North Carolina 43, Baltimore 7, and that's how it's going to end here. The North Carolina Tigers go to 2-0, and depending on what happens with the Ohio Valley game, they're looking pretty good for a chance at the grand final on Sunday. Tristan, final thoughts from you. Good effort from Baltimore, but just not enough on the day.
Yeah, I think the North Carolina team just looked, very much like that, a team. They know each other's games, they know where to be, and they just put it together better on the day.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you for joining me, and now you got to go over to Field 1 because who is the moron that scheduled you for both of? Oh wait, it's me.
Yeah, but I get to see 2 Baltimore games, so.
It'll be great. Well, listen, thank you for joining me. You did a fantastic job. We have another game coming up as the Texas Heat play the DC Eagles. Peter Holden will be back here with maybe a special guest up in the commentary booth. We'll see. We're going to step aside, come right back. You're watching the 2019 USAFL National Championships here on Go Live Sportscast.